Hola amigos, buenos dias. Welcome to our recorded lecture. How are you everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Um, Let me tell you first, before we start our lesson, okay chickens, let me tell you about what happened earlier before I record this lecture. Upon waking up, I drank a cup of coffee, or in Espanol, bebí una taza de café. I also ate my breakfast or comí mi desayuno. Afterwards, me duche. I showered. After all my morning rituals, me senté enfrente de mi laptop, just like what I'm doing right now. I sat down in front of my laptop. Now, why am I telling you this even though you did not ask me? Because our lesson for today has something to do with a completed action, or in Espanol, we call it preterit tense. So while I'm discussing here, I hope you enjoy the sound of the chickens from our neighbors. I guess they aspire to be an instructor too. So here we are with the preterit tense. I hope you will not be confused when we talk about the preterit tense because first of all, when we talk about this type of tense in Espanol, we're not actually talking about actions that were ongoing. If you can still remember your lessons in English, we have what we call the progressive tense, and within progressive tense, we have the past tense, past progressive tense. So it's completely different in Espanol. It's not like this, like he was watching television. This is not the preterit tense in Spanish. It's also not it doesn't also talk about actions that happened repeatedly. Like when I was young, we always went to Spain for our holidays. It's not a preterit tense also. And at the same time, it's not also about descriptions like the sun was shining yesterday. These are not preterit tense. Now, what I want you to remember when talking about the preterit tense is that these are actions completed in the past. Okay? So these are not about qualities or habits or a progressive action that keeps on happening. These are completed actions. That is why in my example earlier, I talked about what I did earlier in the morning. Something that had happened earlier and it's already completed. These are the conjugations for the are verbs. We are going to use comprar as an example. It means to buy in English. As you can see in the first column, we have the what we call in English the suffix that we tend to add in the stem of the word. Like, por ejemplo, para primera persona, we add e with an accent mark. Yo compré. Yo compré means I bought. Another is aste, A-S-T-E, para segunda persona singular. Tu compraste, you bought. Para tercera persona, we just add o with an accent mark, or él o usted compró. Para primera persona plural, we just add amos, nosotros compramos. Para segunda persona plural, we add asteis or vosotros comprasteis. And then para tercera persona, we just add o y n, ellos o ustedes compraron. Here we have a question. ¿Cómo se dice she bought milk in the supermarket in Espanol? Now, you just have to look first at how the sentence was structured, identify whether the sentence is in primera persona, segunda, or tercera. And then afterwards, you determine the appropriate conjugation for the verb bought. Now, for this sentence, where's the subject? It's the she, right? So we have to look for the appropriate conjugation for the verb bought if the subject is she, which is obviously in the tercera persona singular. Okay, so we have to go back here so that you can still memorize it. I hope you have an answer already. So this is the answer. Compró leche en el supermercado. Compró is the correct conjugation. Here are some examples of other R verbs in the preterite tense. We have desayuné, alas 8. I had breakfast at 8 o'clock. Escucho un ruido. He heard the noise. Another examples are trabajaron todo el día. They worked all day. ¿Terminaste el libro? Did you finish the book? Next is the conjugations for the er verb. We are going to use the verb comer or to eat in this type of verb. Now, as you can see, para primera persona singular, comí. You just have to add I with an accent mark. Next is comiste, followed by comió para tercera persona singular. Para primera persona plural, we have imos, comimos. And then segunda persona plural, isteis, comisteis. And para tercera persona plural, comieron. Another example here or another conjugation is for the ir verb. The conjugations of the verbs ir and er are the same. So, por ejemplo, para escribir, it means to write in Espanol. We have escribí, escribiste, escribió, escribió, escribimos, escribisteis, escribieron. So, er and ir are easy to memorize because they share the same conjugation. ¿Cómo se dice I read the book yesterday in Espanol? Now try to remember the Spanish word for read. It is leer. Now, what is the past tense of leer in Espanol? Since your subject is I, obviously, you have to look for the conjugation of the verb leer in the primera persona singular. Yo blanco el libro ayer. What is read in Español? It is leí. Leí el libro ayer. Leí is the correct conjugation. ¿Cómo se dice he received the letter? It is recibió la carta. Recibió la carta. Here are some examples of regular er and ir verbs in the preterite tense. Por ejemplo, decidimos vender la casa. We decided to sell the house. No vieron la película. They did not see the film. Bebí mucho vino anoche. I drank a lot of wine last night. Vendió su coche. He sold his car. So these are the preterite of the verb dar, which means to give, that uses the er endings. Now the dar verb is what we consider an irregular verb also because despite it ending in ar, it uses the er endings. Por ejemplo, di, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, dieron. Por ejemplo, di la flor. He gave the flower. Some verbs require spelling changes in the stem of the preterite to conform to the normal rules of pronunciation. Because there are some verbs that if we're going to follow the conjugation that they intend to follow, it will sound very awkward. So sometimes we tend to what do you call this? To twist the rule in order for it to sound okay. Por ejemplo, for adverbs whose stem ends in zeta, se, or he, it needs a spelling change in the first person singular as follows. Por ejemplo, empezar, to begin, the zeta is changed to se, empecé. Another is aparcar, which means to park, aparqué. And then pagar, to pay, pagué. So these are some examples. But the rest of the conjugations from segunda persona, singular, hasta tercera persona plural, it's the same. And ir verbs whose stem ends in a vowel change the e of the ending to a y in the third persons singular and plural. Por ejemplo, to read, the singular and plural form of the third person are changed. Para tercera persona singular, leo, and para tercera persona plural, leyeron. Caer, to fall, kayo, cayeron. Distribuir, to distribute, distribuyo, and distribuyeron. Oír, to hear, oyo, oyeron. We also have what we call the radical changing verbs. The spelling change in the preterite only affects the third person singular and plural. And then this person's e in the stem becomes i, and o in the stem becomes u. Por ejemplo, the verb morir, which means to die. As you can see here, the red ones are what we call the radical changing verbs. Aside from morir, we also have the verb servir, which means to serve. Same with the case of morir, the tercera persona para singular y plural are what we call the radical changing verbs. On the other hand, we have what we call the strong preterites, in which the stress here is not on the last syllable, but on the last but one syllable. We have here the example, hacer. It's spelled as H, A, C, E, R. It means to make or to do. Here, hacer takes the different preterite tense, and as you can see, or if you're going to pronounce these words, the second to the last syllable is the stressed part of the word. Por ejemplo, yo hice, tú hiciste, él o ella hizo. So the second to the last syllable, that makes this what we call a strong preterite. It's also important to note that the spelling change of the letter C, it becomes Z. On the other hand, we have the verbs ser and ir. It's quite easy to remember the conjugations for the preterite tense of these two important verbs in Espanol porque they share the same conjugations. However, you will just notice or identify whether the sentence is using the ser and ir verbs depending on how it was used in the sentence. Por ejemplo, I have here an example. But first, let us familiarize first the different conjugations in the preterite tense of the verb ser and ir. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él o ella fue, nosotros fuimos, Vosotros fuisteis, ellos fueron. I have here two examples wherein the verb ser and ir are used differently in the sentence. For the first one, the verb fui was used in using the ser verb. Fui maestro. I was a teacher. And here, as you can see, the speaker is saying that he was a teacher before. That is why fui maestro. I was a teacher. On the other hand, the next sentence uses the verb fui using the ir one, the ir verb. I went to the market, or in Espanol, fui al mercado. So these are different contexts, different types of verb, because the first one, if we're going to read it, this is you're talking about your former job, while the second sentence is actually telling where the person or speaker went earlier. He or she went to the market, which is obviously using the ir verb. Another example is, fui estudiante de biología en la universidad. I was a biology student at the university. So you are telling, the speaker is talking about his or her former course at the university. While on the other hand, the second sentence is talking about where she went last summer. Fuiste a la playa el verano pasado. You went to the beach last summer. Alright, so let's test your knowledge with some exercise o ejercicio. I have here 4 items and try to choose the letter of the correct answer. Para número 1 y número 2, número 1, ¿a qué hora te blanco ayer? The verb is levantar. A, levantaste. B, levantabas. C, levantas. D, levantarás. So, first analyze the sentence. What is the subject here? As you can see here, we have the verb or the word te. It means it's in the segunda persona. De segunda persona, and obviously it's in the singular form. That is your clue para número 1. Para número 2, os blanco ayer después de mí. The verb is duchar. Choices are A, duchasteis. B, ducháis. Duchaban para C. Y D, ducharon. The verb or the clue here is the word os. Obviously, this is in the second person, informal, and for the plural form. That is your clue para número 2. Now, were you able to choose the correct answer para número 1 y 2? Let's find out the correct answer here. Para número 1, the correct answer is A. ¿A qué hora te levantaste ayer? The correct answer is A. Número 2 is A también. ¿Os duchasteis ayer después de mí? The correct answer is duchasteis. I hope you did get a correct answer here. And for the last one, número 3 y 4, el curso pasado blanco el Quijote en el colegio. The verb is leer and your subject is nosotros. A, leemos. B, leímos. C, leíamos. I guess no need to identify the subject here because obviously it's right there, nosotros. Now, for the final item, Pedro y Juan blanco demasiado en la fiesta de anoche. The verb is beber, and obviously, the subject of the sentence is Pedro y Juan, which is in the tercera persona, plural. Now, from these choices, which one is the correct one? A, bebieron. B, bebían. C, beben. Have you chosen your answer already? Let's find out the correct answer on the next slide. Para número 3, el curso pasado leímos El Quijote en el colegio. This is in letter B. Número 3 is B. Número 4, Pedro y Juan bebieron demasiado en la fiesta de anoche. The correct letter is A. Para número 3 es B. Número 4 es A. I hope you did get a perfect score in our very, very short exercise. Practice more on using the preterite tense, because I know you're familiar already with the present tense, and preterite tense is a little bit something new to you. So it's much better to practice and memorize the conjugations. So that's it for our meeting. I hope you learned something from our very, very short. I hope this one is short. I haven't checked how long my lecture is, but I hope you learned something from this. That's it for today. Gracias y ciao, amigos. Ciao, ciao. Oh my God.